Hey everyone, and welcome back to some more NASCAR Heat 5 Custom Championship season without the playoffs. Today we're going to be heading over to Auto Club Speedway, where I'm going to be trying to redeem myself for the last two races where I finished in like 23rd and 17th position. Definitely falling a bit down the standings, and also, yeah, ignore this little thing over here to the left that says I'm in third. For some reason, that little sort of like placard, whatever you want to call this, assumes there's like a playoffs, which there isn't. And in fact, if I actually back out of here, you can see that it does say I am 6th in the points. And yeah, we're just going to go ahead and get started. Okay, so starting qualifying, I have left all of the settings the same from the last race because the last race was at Phoenix, where it's a short track, so I don't think the physics really apply the same there as they do in speedways such as this. I'm hoping this is going to be a pretty good race, so hopefully we can get a pretty good qualifying spot. And we'll see. I'll see you back in about a minute. Okay, so I did lift ever so slightly in both turns 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, so we're going to see where I am here. 38.9 is the pole. We're not going to reach that. 8/10 off, that puts us in 15th position. Again, right around the midfield. That seems to be where we're regularly qualifying whenever, you know, everything goes according to plan. Okay, so looking at the qualifying results, we can see that Kyle Busch has gotten the pole. Denny Hamlin, his teammate, who's currently the points leader, down in third. We're really going to need to finish probably inside the top 10, probably even higher at the top 5, if we really want to kind of minimize the damage that they're likely to do in this race otherwise. And then looking down the leaderboard, you can of course see that Matt Benedetto locking out the top 10, Matt Kenseth in 11th, Daniel Suarez in 12th place. Very impressive in that car. Myself down in 15th, right behind Brad. Like I said, the memes write themselves. I cannot escape that dude. And then I'll scroll down through the rest of the list. You can see Bobby Carter, 23rd, Chad Fincham, 28th. Don't know why I called him out for any particular reason. And then down in last place, Timmy Hill, you know, the highlight of the final race before this at Phoenix. Hopefully he has a better race today than he had back then. Okay, so coming to the green flag, this will be interesting. I have not driven this track again in quite some time, since probably NASCAR Heat 3, so it'll be interesting to see how I can adapt. This is going to be a very different track from Phoenix, so nothing that we did there really applies here. We're really just trying to hope for a really good start, and then we're going to hope that on the long runs, we can actually survive as we get into Keselowski just a bit, and he's going to save that, but that's going to hold both of us up just a tad as the 41 of Cole Custer starts to look to the outside, trying to pull a repeat of what he did in the real world at Kentucky. Not quite going to happen. But like I said, we're really looking for a really good finish, especially in this race, considering Kyle Busch and Denny Hamlin are both up there towards the front. We kind of need to be up there with them, probably in the top 5 minimum. Otherwise, it's going to be a long uphill battle for the rest of the season. Okay, so we got an insane draft going down the straightaway there on Matt Kenseth. We're going to try and dive in the corner, but I do have to lift ever so slightly. We're going to nudge into Blaney, who's now got a... Okay, for a second I thought he had a blown tire because of that small little contact. That would have been interesting. But we've already made contact with 2 of the Penske cars already. Not off to a great start with them. They're probably not very friendly with myself right now. We're going to dive it into the corner. I say dive in the corner, we're on the high side. I really don't know what line you want to take here. You can really use any line in this track in this game. That's one thing that I've always noticed, is that especially on this track, the high line and the inside line, definitely both more than usable. As we're going to split Blaney 3 wide here. I'm going to try and get the run. Myself and Christopher Bell still side by side effectively the entire time. I'm trying to keep my foot in it. We're actually getting a pretty good run this time, and we kind of stall out halfway through the corner. Like, we have a really good run midway through, and then everybody else just seems to gain a bit more traction than what I have. I don't exactly know where that's coming from. We're kind of stuck behind Truex here. All right, we're just going to kind of shove down into Christopher Bell because we had nowhere else to go and we had a big run. Okay. This is not ideal. All of us are stuck to the outside. I'm being shoved actively from Martin Truex Jr. I do not like being here. Oh gosh. Okay, we were just about wrecked there. If I had any other setting on other than stable, probably would have wrecked. But you can see the draft is very strong on this track. I did consider tuning that down a little bit, but I wanted to keep it there just because I think it makes the racing a bit more exciting. And by exciting, look behind me. 4 wide, 5 wide even. Yeah. I'm definitely lacking when it comes to the exit of the corners. But if I can get far enough away from these guys, it shouldn't matter, because then they can't necessarily use my draft to keep up with me. Okay, this time, in fact, we're going to be really slow into the corner. Keselowski's going to push us up the field just a bit. Okay, that was getting really sketchy for a second. I don't like it when they're locking onto your bumper like that. I might need to turn off draft partner at some point, because that is seemingly what's causing that. Where they just don't want to get off your bumper. And when you're in a corner, you can't exactly, you know, do that, because you have to turn. You can't just keep going in there at full speed. Okay, we're going to get taken 3 wide, kind of drifted up the track a little bit. We're still pretty competitive. We're in the top 10. We're just going to hope that the tires hold on for long enough for us to actually make it to a green flag stop or to a caution, so we don't lose a whole bunch of ground. And we do have a bit of rear end damage as a result of Keselowski smacking into the back of us. Not all that appreciated, but you know what? It's not the end of the world. Okay, so we're diving into the inside of Keselowski. See, as long as they don't have anybody in front of them, they really seem to lack a bit in the middle of the corner, but if there's somebody in front of them, they really seem to benefit from the draft more than I do myself, which seems kind of odd. I'm going to try and get the draft off of Denny Hamlin here. That's who we're really trying to race. He is the points leader. That being said, if he's this far back and Kyle Busch wins, they'll probably just swap positions. So we do want both of them to struggle a little bit if we really want to leave here any better off on the points than we entered. This is a 26 lap race, however, so of course we can go another 15 laps on fuel. Our tires might not make it that far anyways, but hopefully we're able to get lucky, catch like some kind of yellow flag for a caution, because it's seemingly really bad for us whenever we have to pit under green, because I'm just really bad at pit entries, and we seem to lose a lot of time. That being said, even when we had the yellow flag, I think the last race or the race before that, I think it was at Phoenix, even though I only took like 2 tires, it still didn't go that well for me as we dived to the apron that time on Denny Hamlin. I do have the draft from the back of his car this time. All right, you know, I'm just going to actually try and shove him. I'm not going to try and pass him. I'm going to try and see if we can get away from Keselowski and Truex behind us. It's probably not going to help us out too much. I think it's because I'm trying to go a bit too low into these corners to get around some of these guys. But I did manage to make it stick that time against Hamlin, as now he's going to bump into us. We'll take that in stride, why not? And I think this is Alex Bowman ahead of us. It is. Okay. Kurt Busch, and then up there in third, he's duking it out with the top 2 of Kyle Busch, and I assume that's probably Joey Logano. That's what it looks like from back here. But we are steadily making progress up towards the front. I do like to see that. And I like the fact that we're actually having some pretty competitive races back here. I'm not just running away from anybody, and at the same time, I'm not exactly immediately catching up to the top 3 here. Ooh, okay, very, very sideways coming down at turns 1 and 2 there. This is the time where the tires start to lack a little bit, and you might want to go to the outside. I might give that a shot here in a minute. I do think I can still get around Bowman racing on the inside, but I feel like as the tires wear out, you might want to migrate a bit higher up. Might make it a bit easier to keep your car under control, but we'll see if I end up losing a lot of ground here as a result of that, because I probably didn't go in there with as much speed as I would have hoped. Okay, big dive down to the rear end of Alex Bowman coming through 1 and 2. I went all the way from the outside down to the inside, basically got to his bumper, and surprisingly it stuck. I don't know if we can do that in 3 and 4. 3 and 4 are a different kind of banking, different kind of layout entirely than 1 and 2. So we're just going to hold steady for the time being. We're kind of pulling a little bit away from the guys behind us. Back, it's half second back to Keselowski, a second back to Denny Hamlin. We don't have any immediate pressure from them, but all it takes is a little bit of hesitation on this track to lose a lot of momentum. And because you're going, you know, like 200 miles an hour, they could very easily stampede beyond you. All right, so we're going to get past Alex Bowman here, trying not to touch the apron. I touched it ever so slightly. That's probably going to hurt us, but on the exit, it doesn't look like he has as much of a run on us as a lot of the other AI generally have. And we're going to clear him. All right, so up to 4th place. Okay, so the last few laps have kind of just been myself slowly trying to pull away from Alex Bowman. I don't know if we're really making a whole lot of progress. I feel like this is where we're going to probably stall out, because we're too far away from Kurt Busch to really try and get any sort of draft. We're not even close. We're 2.5 seconds back. So we're probably just going to be stuck here until pit stops happen. But we're going to keep pushing forward. As long as I don't make any mistakes, who knows, maybe Kurt Busch will fall off here in a minute. Also, for anybody who is interested, apparently, and this is just a rumor that I've heard so far, you are supposed to be able to use all of the tracks in the game, except for Eldora, obviously, as parts of the custom season, even for the Cup Series. I was kind of hoping that would already be added, but it's not there, and it wasn't there when I started this season. If it does get added in a future patch, I am still obviously just going to continue forward with this season. But after this season is completed, I might then be able to use some of those in some sort of custom season, as it looks like De Benedetto already went into pit road. That was pretty early. I might use those to do like some sort of sprint season, which I did mention in a previous episode, where I might just take all of the tracks which aren't part of the Cup Series schedule, make them their own little like 10 to 12 race long season. I don't actually know how many tracks entirely there are that aren't used by the Cup Series. I might just do that. It might be pretty fun. It's kind of like a playoff system in its own right, except it is just everybody's involved, and you know, there's no playoffs or gimmicks or anything like that, just because it'd be something a little bit different. And it is kind of a shame that it wasn't there when the game was launched, because that's kind of what I was hoping for. I was kind of hoping to add things like Iowa, you know, Canadian Tire Motorsports Park, things like that, just because I think it would be pretty fun. But hopefully they add those in the future. and we can get some content out there regarding those types of tracks. Okay, so I am ever so slowly starting to catch up to Kurt Busch. I've gained about half a second in probably the last 4 or 5 laps, but I'm also pulling away from Alex Bowman pretty quickly at this point. I'm over almost 2 seconds back, but I say that as I slightly touch the apron there, not exactly something I want to do. I feel like there's a chance we can get up there. We are about to start running into lapped traffic. We're going to have to see how that holds up the AI. I'm hoping we don't win because of that, because the AI can be pretty wonky when it comes to navigating around the slower traffic. But if it happens, it happens. You know, we're struggling a bit for the last 2 weeks, or the last 2 races, I should say. It's only been a couple days probably in the real world. But we could use any advantage we can get at this point. But I would like to race fairly and actually beat Kyle Busch based on speed. Not necessarily because his AI doesn't know how to, you know, navigate around Timmy Hill and Quinn Houff and all those guys. Okay, so also, interestingly enough, I'm now noticing 5 laps of fuel. There's like, what, 9, 10 laps left of racing? Ooh, somebody's in the grass and cars are up into the fence. Okay, I don't like that. I feel like the AI might have just glitched out. Logano and Kurt Busch both kind of slamming themselves up into the wall to avoid that, so I'm going to move up in a second miraculously. Kyle Busch is still up there, but what I am noticing is that I'm pretty sure these tires can go the entire race, theoretically. And based off how my strategy has gone on pit road the last few races, I feel like if we do have to do a green flag pit stop, not getting tires might be the call. It's going to be pretty risky because it'll probably take us below 20% wear on the right front. But I think that's what we have to go for, because I'm pretty sure the AI will go for that strategy, just based off the fact that even though I took 2 tires like last week or last race at Phoenix, I still lost a lot of spots. I'm thinking that could be it. Also, that is kind of a shame that I passed those 2 based off them kind of glitching off of the AI. That being said, Joey Logano is still kind of holding tight to us. Kurt Busch fell back way back there. He's kind of close to Martin Truex Jr. now. Some cars are now coming down pit road. We have 3 laps of fuel. I'm not going to pit just yet. I do want to see where these tires are going to end up, as we're going to come say hi to Timmy Hill and Brendan Gaughan side by side for 36th position. The Battle of the Ages back here. And like Joey Gase probably up here ahead of them. Yep, okay, so we just ran a 40.1. We're going to finish up this lap. We do have a bit of lap traffic here, so it might not be the best representation of how fast we actually are. We're 2.8 back from Kyle Busch. We're going to see probably come pit next time by. Hopefully no caution comes out to screw up the entire field. But that lap was a 40.1 again, so we're, you know, not quite half a tenth down. That seems about right considering the more grip option that we have for the tires. Still ever so slightly gaining on Kyle Busch, but we're going to have to come pit this time by. Let's see if we can get around Ross Chastain and hope that he doesn't rear-end us as we try to enter pit road. We're at 32% on the tires. 7 laps. I feel like we can do it. If not, you know what? We got to risk it, because otherwise we're probably just going to lose a lot of spots. All right, here comes Kyle Busch on the pit road. All right, got on the brakes a bit later that time. 55. Okay, we did it. I also did not shift gears at all. All right, what do we need here? We need 1 can of fuel, just barely. That is very close. Yeah, we don't need to get any tires then. Half a can. Yeah, we need 1 can. No tires. We're not going to repair anything because I don't want to risk that causing us any more time. We're really just trying to race Kyle Busch off of pit road. Oh, would you look at that? It didn't give us that weird little graphical glitch that it has from time to time when we come to pit road. Okay, I already hear Kyle Busch. Oh, hey, we're going to leave here side by side. Actually, we just cut him off. He's not going to be happy about that. Can we get off to a good start off of pit road? That could have been the race for the win. I don't know if he took tires. If he took tires, he could still be substantially faster than us, as I'm going to rejoin the track probably a bit early. I'm sure the NASCAR officials are not going to be too happy about that. Where we are now, we're 19th. So all the other cars are currently on pit road. We're going to pass most of them, hopefully all of them. We should ideally be in the lead here, with Kyle Busch about second and a half, 2 seconds back. Okay, this thing definitely does not turn as well as you would hope. But we're at 29% wear. Well, we got like 5 laps to go this time around. I think that should be substantially well off. We should be pretty good. But hopefully I don't jinx myself. I'm pretty sure you can't actually blow a tire in this game until you get to 0%. They start to really drop off a cliff once you get to 20, but it should still be good enough to hang tight all the way through. Okay, so I tried to take the high line that time. I feel like it's a bad idea. We did just lose half a second on Kyle Busch in basically that one corner. This is not looking too good. It's definitely between myself and Kyle, though, because if you look back, Kurt Busch is 8 seconds back from him. So I don't know what happened. Both of us did some strategy that nobody else did. and or we're just that much faster. Okay, so it really does seem like Kyle Busch is just faster than us and 3 and 4 no matter what I do. When I went to the outside, I lost half a second. When I went to the inside, I lost like 2/10, maybe 3/10. But I don't know. I can't really go any other option there. So turns 1 and 2, we should be fine for the most part. It's really turns 3 and 4. Actually, turns 1 and 2, we might actually even gain some time as we go up to another second lead. Lose a bit of it, so we're still pretty even. Now we're getting the tire warning here. That is not exactly something you want to see, but only a few laps to go. We should be fine. I'm hoping I didn't jinx myself and that we're going to blow a tire in some way, but I'm pretty sure you do have to hit 0% before that happens. But that'll have to be seen later. Okay, so you can see Kyle Busch now down to half a second. All right, this is getting pretty nerve-wracking. I feel like this might be a final lap pass. Might not even be a final lap pass. He might just be able to get me next time around if he's going to have the draft on me. As we kind of lean up against Ryan Preece there. Sorry, man, but we got our own race to try and win here. We don't have to worry about you. He might hold up Kyle Busch ever so slightly. And that could be what decides it all. This is where Kyle Busch would be screaming at his crew chief right now, or his spotter, saying, get Ryan Preece out of the way. 7/10 down. Didn't lose any time that time. How much time will it gain on us in 3 and 4? And I think it's because I have to lift ever so slightly coming this corner because it feels like the back end wants to snap out. All right, he's still 7/10 down. 6/10, so he's still gaining on us a little bit there. 1 lap to go. I think we might have it. We might barely edge him out here. That being said, 6/10, not that much, especially if he manages to get in our draft on the backstretch. That would not be great. Also, we're going to have some lap traffic potentially going into the final corner. Not something you'd like to see. Hopefully that's not going to be too much of an issue, and they're not going to wreck anybody. Hopefully this doesn't turn into a Denny Hamlin and Joey Logano at Auto Club incident where one of us gets taken out for a couple races. Ooh, they're kind of side by side. You know what? I think they're still far enough ahead. We're good. Kyle's got a big run on us. Half a second down. All right, coming to the line. Hey, we're going to do it. Okay, I didn't actually think it was going to happen. We're going to pick up the win Auto Club. Not bad. That was a really close race. Another lap, and I think Kyle might have had us. Plus another lap or two, and my tires would have just been like burning off the seams. We're going to go ahead and do a burnout. I don't actually know how to do burnouts properly in this game. We're just going to do a small little... Okay, yeah, we're going to cave in the front end because you know what? It was actually illegal. We're just going to pretend that was totally intentional, as I almost do it twice in a row. Completely fine. None of these people here are practicing social distancing anyways. We're just going to keep smashing the front end in. We can call that race damage. And then we're going to move on. Okay, so looking at the race results, you can see that I do edge out Kyle Busch as we see Corey LaJoie. Actually, he's the one that... Okay, him and whoever's in the 00, I think that's Quinn Houff, both wrecked. I think that was what was in front of the leaders, potentially, that caused some of the cars ahead of us to slow down. Don't know what's happening, but for some reason the cautions just aren't coming out for certain events, just like when we were at Phoenix. It didn't do anything, even though Timmy Hill is kind of just dead in the middle of the track, but that's fine. Looking through the standings, you can see that we do beat Kyle Busch by about half a second. Martin Truex Jr., Kurt Busch, and then Brad Keselowski rounding out the top 5. And then we'll scroll through the rest of the list, just see where everybody else is. Ryan Newman with the 17th place, not exactly great on his part. Keep going on, Ricky Stenhouse 22nd, Justin Haley 27th, 28 cars finishing on the lead lap. And then the car that DNF'd pretty early, actually I guess was Corey LaJoie, after he kind of just died, and we didn't get a caution for that. Kind of interesting. And then taking a look at the points after this race, you can see that we have a very close battle going on for second place. Denny Hamlin is 21 points ahead of Kyle Busch for first place, but then Kyle, Ryan Blaney, myself, and Brad are all within 9 points of each other between second and fifth. Highly competitive there. I'm the second driver so far this season to pick up my second win. So far, there's been 4 different winners. If you go way down here, and you see Michael McDowell, 29th in points. So even if there was a playoffs, Michael McDowell would be on the verge of not being able to even make that after winning the Daytona 500, because you do have to be in the top 30 in points. Fortunately, it doesn't matter because there aren't any playoffs. So he's basically already out of the picture. It's already kind of... probably down in the top 10 drivers on this list right here. Probably going to be the champion at the end of the season. But we're going to have to see. We did pick up a few spots there, but we're still quite a ways back from Denny Hamlin. He did not have a bad race, so we didn't really gain that many points on him. Okay, well, that is going to wrap it up for today's video. If you've made it this far and you did enjoy it, please consider leaving a like. It would help me out a lot. Also, in the next race, we head over to Sonoma. I can already tell you right now, this is going to be a disaster, or it's going to be really good unexpectedly for myself. I don't think I've ever actually run this layout in a NASCAR Heat game with the carousel, so that's also another component I have to keep in mind. But yeah, feel free to tune into that. And until then, have a nice day, and I'll see you all in the next one.